Hey, what's up, everybody? You already know what it is. It's your brother from another, Brother Mays, aka Marlon Rashawn Graves, of course. Government name. You already know. Check this out. You already know I got my partner in crime.
Hello,
Hey,
everybody.
what's up, Jayce?
What's good? Happy Black History
That's what I'm
Month.
talking
Yes,
about. Happy Black
sir.
History Month. Hey, y'all, it is Black History Month, and we are back once again with episode 17, y'all.
17.
Let's go.
17. And we talking about the art of advocating. And we'll get into that a little bit more. But I want to go ahead and jump over to our special guest in the house, Mr. Indi himself. Mr. Indi himself.
What's good,
Indi
man?
Childs, what's going on, man?
Man, I'm floating.
You floating?
I feel like I'm floating.
If you floating, man, that means I'm sky high.
Right.
What's going on with you, man?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling blessed. I feel grateful just to be here with y'all. I mean, I was spitting that before we got on camera, but
Right.
just feel very grateful for these experiences because they're transformative for me. As I get to talk about my art, it then helps me deliver it to other people as well.
That part right there.
Mm.
And, before we go, Andy, I got to do this because we wouldn't be on here without our supporting
Absolutely.
cast, and that's community partnerships of the Ozarks Gun Safety and Violence Reduction Collaborative. They have made it to the point where we could be able to do this in our 17th episode, having you on, man. I want to just go ahead and jump into it because I think a lot of people are like me. When I first met you, I was at the Multicultural Fest last month.
Yeah.
Man, I seen you standing there with your art and everything. People was like, "Who is this brother?" So, man, talk to me like, here's the thing. You from here?
I'm from here.
You are seriously from the field?
Yeah, so spent all the way until third grade. I was at Pleasant View, and then moved to Nixa.
Now you sound like Matt, because Matt was at Pleasant View himself.
Well,
all right. Yeah, y'all was out there. Y'all was hiding in the sticks, man.
Oh yeah, all the way in the sticks.
Why?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what happened, man? You came here. You said third grade.
Yeah.
You came here, but where'd you come from?
Oh, so
prior to.
So I was in Spring. So I was on the north side of Springfield, like out by
Yeah.
Pleasant View from
Right.
like kindergarten to third grade, and then third grade is when I ended up moving out to Nixa. And so in third grade, I just lived with
You
my
just didn't
my
like
mom.
Springfield. You just had to stay on the outside of the city, huh?
Well, mother's choice.
Yeah,
So
mother's
you
choice.
gotta follow the loved one.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man, I didn't mean to pull you there with that one, but at
No,
the
not
end
at
of the
all.
day, you're from this area, and
Yeah.
that's the beauty of this, is because we're finding out. I tell people all the time, I mean, Springfield or the field has hidden gems.
It does.
And man, you like a hidden gem, because when I was telling a friend of mine, I said, man, I'm gonna have this art. I'm just gonna say it, artivist. Now, artivist, because that's what you go by. You're an artivist.
Artivist.
I want you to go ahead, because I was telling him about that. He said, "What is that?" I said, "Well, I'm gonna let him explain. What is an artivist?"
For me, that's something that always is evolving for me as I grow. I think the sense of it grows, but the general idea is that art is action to me.
Okay.
Art is action, and it means and can be a means to be able to build the community that we want to see in this world.
Okay.
And so that's how I see artivism, is you're using your art and taking your art, and it is then channeled into the community.
Nice.
I like that
I might be an
explanation, right?
artivist too.
You're an artist. Well, you know what? I actually was looking
It's
this
funny you
up.
said
I was actually looking this up, and I had found, because I back in the day, and we talked about this. My artivist, self. I came out with poetry, and which evolved me into writing music and stuff. And at the end of the day, I was actually researching this, and we really have we're in a world now of artivists.
Yeah.
Where there are so
Absolutely.
many artists, ranging from vocal to visual arts, silent artists, mime artists, but they're using their art to tell stories and to fight against the unrest that we are dealing with today. And that's what I felt when you said that. And I was like, because when I looked at your work and I said, wow, it's talking to me. And that's
Mm.
because I have to ask
I
this
like
question.
that.
I
I
have
like
to ask
that.
this question,
I
man.
like that.
When did this all start for you? Because it's like you're telling people this is who I am,
Yeah.
but you're giving them pieces.
Yeah.
Talked about that, man. I mean, was this early on, or how did this all start?
I feel like it started there's always been a deep interest of
Mhm.
self-exploration for me, even at like when I was a kid.
Mhm.
I always just wanted to explore deeper parts of myself and
Mhm.
better understand myself. And I mean, that started honestly, some of my first memories were like in first and second grade, where I was like looking at the way somebody else was doing something. I was like,
Right.
ooh, I don't write like that. Ooh, I like the way you write. So
So you didn't
how do you
stand
do?
between the lines.
No, no,
No.
no. I liked when I admired somebody else, I wanted to see how I could then incorporate that or infuse that into something that I was doing.
Right.
Unfortunately, though, that came also with disassociation too, because
Mm.
you were talking about earlier, you
Mm.
said jealousy is a disease.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think in unhealthy spaces as I got older,
Mhm.
the same self-exploration that I did when I was little ended up being where I was comparing and seeking
Mm.
validation, I think, from my experiences. And so really, this started as I was a kid,
Mhm.
and it's evolved from I used to do music.
Mm.
I used to draw a lot.
Mhm.
And just as of recently, over the past 3 months, I've been starting to paint.
Right.
And painting's it's a whole other thing for me. And so,
Mm.
as you're kind of hearing in the
Right. Right.
story,
Right.
like the brushstroke story is like it started as a kid, you
But
know.
but but being that it started as a kid, I mean, I taught school for many years,
Mm,
and I would, as a teacher, you take your kids to art class, and
yeah, yeah,
sometimes you sit in there, and if you're not willing to take a break, but
yeah.
you'll sit in there and you watch your kids. Someone told me a long time ago, if you really want to understand your kids, watch the artistry
Mm,
that they display,
mm,
and that will better help you connect.
yeah.
And I actually did that. I had some fifth graders. I sat down with them. I was watching them. I was going, oh, because they express themselves through their work. So did you feel like you were expressing who you were
Oh,
at that
absolutely,
time? So did your
absolutely.
parents or did anybody else know that this is my child through this work? Or I mean,
I think specifically my mom. I think she probably figured it out.
uh,
It was fourth grade, and she. I'm just gonna be talking about my family, and I'm
it's
sorry.
all
I'm
good. It's
sorry,
okay.
moms, but
It's
she
okay.
had gotten a divorce, was going through a divorce,
Uh,
and it was fourth grade.
uh,
Very transformational. I remember it, and the art that I was creating was apparently reflecting the experiences that I felt.
Mm.
right,
So much so that my mom popped up at the show was like, "Oh, I didn't know you felt this way."
right,
Because
right,
and
right,
I didn't know I
Yeah.
felt it. You got to understand, I didn't know I felt this way.
right.
And so art has always been uh it's always been a way for me to express thoughts,
Right.
feelings, and experiences that I never had words for.
Yeah.
And so that's where it started though. I appreciate that question
I
because
was I
it's
was at a school when and this is real talk. I was teaching at a school in Miami, Florida,
Mhm.
and as a form of discipline, they would make the kids. They had a choice. You either go outside and you'd walk your laps,
Mm.
think about whatever you did wrong. This is real talk. Florida, the weather crazy. So it was hot sometimes. Sometimes they just wanted to come in and say, man, just whatever you got for me, whatever else you got for me,
I'll
let's
do
do
that
that.
instead.
But what I learned, and this was really interesting, because the other option was to go into the art room, and they would give these kids a
Mm.
canvas, or they give them something. They said, take out your frustrations. You got 30 minutes. And for some kids, that was really like easy, but
Mm.
then it was very hard.
Mm.
You understand where I'm going with this? It was a form of discipline that
Absolutely.
actually brought out more.
Mhm.
And so I have to ask this question because we are dealing with some kids today.
Mm.
And I know you work with different kids and with your nonprofit and all that, and we'll
Mm,
talk about that.
yeah.
But how are you using this gift that you have to help channel to some of your audience, especially the youth?
Ooh. Well, automatically think about my nonprofit. You know, the nonprofit that I co-founded,
Yeah.
417 Bridge Builders.
Yeah, talk about that because that
Yeah,
417 Bridge Builders, there's a lot of history behind that.
deep history.
Yes.
And you just also happen to be connected to that deep
That
history
I that's
as a
true.
former attendee.
That's true.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
We
Yeah.
know the lady, her name, Miss Gwen Marshall.
Miss Gwen Marshall, Denny
Yeah.
Wayne, don't forget his
Yeah,
name.
see, and you know, we gonna bring up a lot of stuff. Like I said, we just talking off the hook here, y'all. This is the Lock and Loaded show. Y'all already know how it is. You know, we come in on a hot conversation, and we just get going. At the
Mm,
end of the day, this is about the art of advocating with my guest, special guest, Mr. Indi, Indigo Childs.
mm,
Again, you and I want to bridge to that because you are dealing with a nonprofit that
mm,
you co-founded,
mhm,
417 Bridgers.
mhm.
And I noticed that in the introduction of that, this is deriving off of black women,
Oh yeah.
educators.
Yeah.
How did that all come about?
Well, you know, so I started volunteering with them about 7 years ago.
Yeah,
And 7 years ago, I was just like, hey, I just want to help. I'm just here to help.
right.
You know, think about 7 years ago. That's what, 2018.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, there's always been stuff going on in our community, but I feel like something around that time had definitely fueled me to want to get involved with our community. And so I was just like, yo, let me show up here and let me
right,
see what's up. Well, I left. I was not expecting this. They said, oh, well, we have the high school boys that we're looking for a t-shirt. And
right.
I was like, oh yeah, like, you know, maybe by the end of it, I was already in. You know what I'm saying? And so
Right.
I really fell into the blessing that became so like part of like what I'm doing now
Right.
with my actual business, Indigo Childs, and then how that's then feeding into and
Mm,
supporting in a financial way to
mm.
417 Bridge Builders and Black History Summer Academy, because let's not forget that name
Yeah,
too.
because I
And let's
wanted
not
to.
bury it in the new marketing of it, everything.
I wanna jump back to that because for a lot of people don't know, Gwen Marshall, who started Black History Summer Academy years ago,
Hmm.
and one of our founders of that, and then of course we talk about Denny Wayne. You
Hmm.
know, he was one of my mentors, former councilman, and just all that in a bag of chips. If you want to think about an all-star MVP person, that's who Denny Wayne was. But there was something there
Mm.
that kept you coming back.
Oh, absolutely.
How did that start? Because there's so many different entities, and I know when I worked with them before, we were helping describe projects,
Sure.
small projects. Kind of talk about how that connection actually started.
Well, I mean, you were talking about connection. I mean, Gwen Marshall,
Yeah,
Dr. Rosalind Thomas,
yeah, yeah.
um, Ed Thomas, Coach Ed Thomas.
Oh yeah, coach.
Um,
He used to bench me all the time at Pipkin, but it's all good.
oh, sorry for that, Coach. I mean, I'm thinking about some of our new folks too. You know, we
Right.
got Cicely Woodard, Dr. Cicely
Dr.
Woodard,
Woodard. Yeah.
Dr. Woodard, Dr. Ron Woodard as well too. He's involved. You know, Michelle Gavel,
Oh yeah.
Natasha Brown,
Yeah.
and those are some of the people. Terry Campbell as well.
Terry Campbell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Terry Campbell is solid, and we're trying to bring more folks into the fold too, like Gary Strafford
Oh,
as well,
I already
and we're
know cuz. That's
trying
my
to
cousin. All
we're,
right,
tr-
go ahead.
we're trying to get some more of the local folks, because
Yeah.
the one thing, as we're all coming from, our families don't come from Springfield, so
Right.
one of the things we want to do is make sure that we really honor the legacy of the families that came here and did the work, and make sure that we're not trampling or oftentimes what happens is repeating what has been done to us by white supremacy culture. And I'm just going to name it for what it is, because we here. But that's what it is. And it's a culture too. It's not pointing to anybody specific. It's actually a term coined by Tema Okun.
Yeah.
And just really speaks about how sometimes there's these different mechanisms that can keep these systems going that oppress
Right.
Black and brown folks. And so yeah, we don't want to do any of that, man. We
No,
trying to we trying to build off of
I
what
appreciate you
they
touching on
built.
that because we, and we talked off air about this a little bit too. Because when you bring all these different minds, number one, together, that's a great thing. But sometimes the origination and the foundation is never. How would I put this? It's not matured.
Mm,
Does that make sense?
mm-hmm,
We could talk. This is Black History Month.
mm,
We could talk about the legacy of Springfield alone. There's a lot of stories. I could sit here and tell you a lot of stories.
absolutely.
But how many people coming in doing projects like what you do and what y'all have done over the years with Black History Academy actually take the time to take the past, bring it to the present,
Right.
so that the future can exist?
Right, because I mean, it's in
Yeah,
it's in the name. Bridging our past in
yeah,
our present to build our future,
yeah,
and that even just the past, present, future. That theme runs
yeah.
deep within our communities and
Right.
cultures, anyways. And just blessed to be able to be a part of not the Black History Summer Academy is
Mm.
huge, but I also don't want to forget to mention the ARIA celebration that we have. And
Yes,
the ARIA
yes.
celebration is really beautiful because it does center on all our youth, and it specifically centers our high school graduates,
Yeah.
our young men and women who are going into this world and having to navigate it. And it's this rites of passage where our elders are able to speak over
I
the
look at
youth
it
in
as
an
a
intentional way.
celebration.
Yeah,
I look
it
at it as
really
a
is.
celebration
It really
of
is.
their
It
accomplishments.
really is.
The beauty of that and
It
everything.
is.
And I want to touch back with that because was that how you transcended growing up here? Obviously from third grade. Did you transcend through the academy in the same format where you were?
See, no, that's the thing though.
Yeah,
I didn't know about what's going on in our
really.
community. Yeah, but and it's so interesting because I've always had a yearning for our community,
Right.
but it just never presented itself. Honestly, I had gone through so much in childhood with family violence and
Mm,
domestic violence, some people call it, that I feel like w- even if I was seeking our culture and trying to understand us
yeah.
in ways that were just trying to validate my own experience instead of really trying to understand like where I'm coming from. I
I
feel
love
like it
it.
was wrapped up in some disassociation.
Mm,
But yeah, no, I feel like um, yeah, no, for me, something that keeps me coming back to the organization is how important it is for our youth to have access to self-expression and
mm,
self-exploration
Mm.
because I didn't have that.
mm.
And specifically us. I'm talking about the diaspora.
Oh man.
Now,
Oh man.
our programs center us. That's what we do.
Mm,
We do not exclude others. We invite everybody in to see how we center us. I think
mm.
that's very, very
Right.
important
Yeah.
for everybody to see it. Because, for example, maybe I might have had the opportunity if I would have known about this information, but I didn't know because I went to Nixa. And
Right.
who's going to Nixa to promote? I ain't trying to go to
I
Nixa to
understand.
promote that, just respectfully. Like, I don't know
You
what
know,
it's like
Indi.
now,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? Back when I was growing up, it's just,
Yeah.
it is not, it hasn't always been the place where it has been welcoming to us.
Right.
So the fact that I didn't know about it from that, but if you went to a different school, maybe like Central
I
or,
understand. I
you know, you
understand.
get kind of more access. So.
Indi, I want to put a pin right there
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you touched on something just prior,
yeah,
and again, this is up to you if you want to talk
yeah, yeah.
about the domestic violence to
Mm.
that point. But before we go there, we're gonna take a quick break. Hey y'all, I'm Brother Mays. We
Jayce
got Jayce
Janae.
Janae. This is Lock and Loaded Show. If you don't already know, we got our special guest, Indi Childs, in the house, better known as Indi. We're gonna be right back because we about to get into the meat.
Mm.
We'll see you in a minute. Hey everybody, you already know who it is. It's your brother from another, Brother Mays, aka Marlon Rashawn Graves, government name. But hey, listen, I'm back. Got my special guest in the house, Mr. Indi Childs, aka Indi. Jayce, are you having fun?
I'm having a good time.
You having a good time?
Yeah, I'm having a good
You know, we
time.
we about to learn a little bit more about Mr. Indi because Indi's talking about the art of advocating,
Mm.
and we're really getting into this because Indi is homegrown, right out of the field. Indi has started, is co-founder of 417 Bridge Builders.
Bridge builders, yes, sir.
And the beauty of that is it comes from a very artistic background, but also advocating for his community, and to the point where he's called a artivist. And he's explained a little bit about what that actually means, but he also talks about some of the things that he dealt with. And one of the things that you talked about earlier was domestic violence. And I know we're in Black History Month. Let's be real. We all representing. We all wearing black
Yes,
in
sir.
here. We
Active
representing
black.
for the black. It is what it is. Black History 365 black to me.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, we're coming up into a new month next month, and it does deal a lot with domestic violence awareness. And since that's happening, I want to touch on what you said because you opened up that you experienced that.
Yeah.
And when we talk about art, and one of the things that I've learned even over my years is that sometimes we take that pain and we put it into an expression.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you take the pain of domestic violence, the experience that you went through, and put into your art and your motivation? I mean, how did that all come together?
Yeah, actually tell a story because
Please,
that's
please.
is the best way. So I'll never forget. So this is not with my father. It's not with my biological father. This is my mother and her first husband. And we were at Shoney's. You know, back when they had the
Back in the
Shoney's.
day.
I don't know if you know the Shoney's.
Shoney's over on Glenstone.
Over
I
on the
already got you.
Glenstone. That
Yes,
was a
sir.
spot, man. They had
I
a little
re-
buffet, frog legs.
Yeah,
And
I remember.
we were over there and it was a rough day. Like they was going at it. And I'm sitting there and I'm just feeling it. You know, I'm a Pisces, I'm an empath, I'm all the things.
Hey, ain't
I'm
nothing wrong
feeling
with
all
us.
the energy.
Ain't nothing wrong with Pisces, but go ahead. Just go
Right,
ahead.
right. So
Yeah,
I'm feeling all the feels. And
yeah,
so
yeah.
almost intuitively I pick up the waiter sits us down and she gives us something to color with. You know, something to color.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what happens after that. I just remember as I was starting to I picked up the crayons and started filling it in and doing my own thing. I flipped it on the back and I started doing my own design. But I didn't know what I was doing at the again.
Right,
You know,
right.
I'm in my feelings. I'm really not even there. And when I looked up, still hadn't really known what I created, but the waiter came by and was like, "Oh my gosh, that's really cool. Like
Right,
I
right.
like what you created." And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, oh yeah, I guess I did create that." Like it was
Right, right.
and that's really where it all started for me. It's always been a way to kind of channel some of that pain and those experiences that I was feeling from that from from the experiences of witnessing it and often having to be in the peacemaker. Uh, it allowed me to check out in a healthy way. I think, not realizing that now, but even as
Yeah.
I'm reflecting on it now,
I want to ask you this because I see your emotions,
mm,
and when you talk about your art, it's like now you become that superhero.
mm,
So here's the question. Let's real talk here. If your art could speak directly to your power or to power, what would it say?
if it spoke to power,
Yeah, if it spoke to power.
if it spoke to power,
Because here's the thing.
hmm,
I'm listening to you talk about that story,
mm-hmm,
and I'm picturing it. And it's almost like you were this kid that when you flipped that paper, you now became a superhero.
hmm,
You now became your protector
mm,
because now you were expressing
mm,
something that only you could do.
mm,
And here it is, a stranger notices it and says, whoa, that's that feeling.
Mm.
So now, if you're talking to power, you talking to your superpower, what would you say to it?
Mm. You know, I'm really drawn to thank you and gratitude
Yeah.
because to me, what I understand now, and this is my own belief system. But my ancestors, spirits, and God's always been with me.
Yeah.
And
Mm,
what made me turn over that paper and start that work
mm,
was them.
mm.
You know, they were like, "Hey, we see you going through it.
Right.
Let me put something in your hand that you might not you're not gonna recognize till later. You're not even gonna understand it.
Mm,
Didn't really even understand that story until coming on here and really talking about it as well. But that was pivotal. So I would say thank
mm.
you, gratitude
No,
for the superpower because
it's no, it's not a problem
mm,
to ask or talk about it. It's, are you willing?
mm,
And I know that when we talked off air, because I believe we work with youth. You work with youth. I work
yeah,
with
yeah.
youth. You know, in order to connect to a youth, sometimes you have to bring out something about them that they don't even know about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me curious because with your work and the work that
Mm,
you do, that connection is everything.
yeah.
So what have you seen from your work, your past,
Mm.
that's allowed you to connect to these youth today?
So take that same story that I just shared with y'all,
Mm,
and then fast forward to the multicultural center because this was actually like a recent event,
okay.
and these like a group of these young, cute little black girls came by, and I had a little booth sessions like set up to where they
Mm,
could draw or anything, and
right.
but my one thing was like, if you want this candy, because that's what they were there for, you know, they saw the
Right.
candy, they saw. I was like, if you want this candy, I was like, I need you to draw something that means something to you.
Okay.
I didn't understand what I just opened up
Mm,
because kids like me at that time, we don't
mm,
know what they going through oftentimes.
mm,
Started opening up about grief, like about these very deep people talking about their grandmamas and
mm,
people in their life who they lost.
mm,
And I said, "Whoa!" I said, "I think I just created the same experience that I had in Shoney's.
mm,
I created for somebody else." And like overwhelmingly overwhelmingly so I feel blessed and honored, but it also doesn't feel from me. It feels like it's coming from somewhere else too. And
mm.
so
So like you flipped that paper for them, in a sense.
mm, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, I'm still processing in a real time, but like that's how I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I know my purpose as well is
Mhm,
because it's not about me. It's about me, and then it's about something just as big as me, which is these kids. Like
mhm,
these kids, especially in Springfield, but also the kids who are gravitated towards our kids who are gravitated towards Springfield, whether it's for
mhm,
college or they just
mhm,
find themselves here. We have talent.
Yeah.
We have plenty of
mhm.
talent that is just oozing out of this city. And
So
I want to create, you know, a space where they can exist. And
so has
yeah.
that experience reshaped or redirected you
Mm,
as far as the goals with your foundation? Obviously, you talk about the fact that you had many mentors, many people that
mm-hmm.
have believed in you and to say, "Hey, I would like for you to do this." Is that reciprocated with them after seeing this experience? Because dealing with these
Mm,
young girls and these girls showing you that, hey, I got some issues too,
mm-hmm.
and this is allowing me to express that. What's next?
Right.
I mean, because I'm sure you've asked that question.
Yeah.
What's next? How can you move on and say, okay, this is now what I'm going to provide?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kind of
I
talk
mean,
about that.
and what's next for me is kind of to honor those experiences, and then how do I honor those
Yeah.
experiences? Because I had that experience with them, and then I had an experience with two young men too. Same thing, stuff was coming out, and
Mm,
so I'm like, okay. So then if that's youth is that's me. It's always been me that I've always been connected to youth and I've always worked with youth in my 10 plus nonprofit career. But I'm like, what do I want? Because I was always with organizations where it was how I showed up for my community was dictated by them.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, blessings. Thank you for the opportunity. Because if I didn't have those opportunities, I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't know what I know now. But now I get an opportunity to be able to help my community the way I want, the way,
I like that.
and I can be who I want. I don't have to be somebody else. I don't have to take out my nose rings. I don't have to take out. This is who I am, and I want other kids who look like me to know that they don't have to have the nose rings. They don't need the tattoos. They don't need any of all this. They just need to be themselves. They need to be authentic, because authenticity is what gives birth to us, like who I mean, to invention. And we don't even need to go into the fact that Black people are in part, if not creating something, innovating it. Like we've always been there. So I want to do that for our youth. I want to be able, and again, not only our youth that comes straight out of Springfield, but sometimes our families find ourselves here too, just by migration. People find themselves in Springfield. So it's everybody who finds themselves here.
What do you know about art history in regards to your environment and what you've experienced? Do you study other artists and artists that before you to help elevate what you're doing?
Well, it's funny you say that because you were mentioning earlier, you were talking about like, oh, I was thinking maybe an artivist, like maybe you are.
Yeah.
So I have this slogan with Indigo Childs, art is action, and art lives everywhere within everyone. And so when I'm studying history, there's artists everywhere.
Yeah.
Walter Lewis Majors. I ain't gonna go into all of it.
Keep talking.
But Walter Lewis Majors is a huge one.
Yeah,
He was an inventor. He created one of the first automobiles here. I want to say the first automobile here in Springfield.
Yeah.
Then ended up pairing up with Annie Turnbow up in St. Louis to produce some hair products as well, and made her millions of dollars. And so,
and I want you to say that name again. Annie what?
Annie Turnbow.
Annie Turnbow. So a lot of people don't realize, because what do we hear all the time? Walker, right?
Madam C.J. Walker.
Madam C.J. Walker.
Respect.
Madam C.J. Walker. But there was someone even before Madam C.J. Walker.
Right.
You just mentioned.
Right.
That made millions.
And one of our own was a part of that. Like one of somebody who came from this, or somebody who touched foot on this land came and was a part of that.
That's good. That's good.
Isn't that beautiful?
Because history, here's what I'm noticing, and this is something that's going on so much right now in social media. You can see it on TikTok, you can see it on IG, you can see it in Facebook. We since, and I want to say this, correctly. We have, through education, have gotten our history taken away from us in the libraries, in the public forum. Now, understand, we're not new to this because we grew up with our history being taken from us. But I want y'all to understand what's actually happening. Before, in order for us to understand our history the way we're supposed to, we had those conversations in our homes. Our uncles, our aunts, our grandparents, and people told us these stories. And for somewhere, I don't know where, I don't know if it was just the break of 2000 or what, we stopped telling those stories. So guess what? All those books and all those writings and manuscripts that were inside these libraries, you saw what Florida did. You saw what all these different states are doing. They're taking it out of our libraries as if we don't exist or we didn't exist. But guess what's happening? Your generation, your group, obviously, you guys have access to social media just as much as I have it. And you understand it. But do y'all realize the education that is evolving? Because almost every other IG submission or Facebook submission, anything that someone posts, It's history about did you know?
Mm-hmm.
The inventors, like you mentioned, Ms. Turnbull. When you look at what's happening, and this segues to where I need to ask you this question because you're into the now. Your work is right now.
Absolutely.
You're creating visual history, and then I want to touch on this because we're looking at a piece in front of us. If you look at this piece, I want you to explain this. What motivated you, the story behind it, and who does it talk to?
Ooh.
The audience.
Ooh.
Because I seen this piece and I looked on your social media and I saw the responses.
Yeah.
And it's coming from people of all different
Yeah,
ages.
yeah.
Talk to us, Indi.
You said who's to talk to, and selfishly, I'm talking to me. Y'all just having an inside conversation. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get into
Talk
an
to us,
inside
man.
conversation. You know, this is part of a series. That's called Here I Am. And
Oh, that's strong by itself.
yeah, Here I Am. And
Yes.
I also want to mention Lil Olive. We had a exhibition in November, and she's the one who invited me to that. And it was I Am Here and
Yeah.
Here I Am. So
Oh,
she was the I
wow.
Am Here, I was the Here I Am.
Wow.
So I'm continuing on that.
Is
And
this the one, and not to catch up, but
no,
is this the one that you recently had at the Creamery?
no. So I actually have 3 works right now up at the
Okay, because I
Creamery
was
right
looking,
now.
I'm waiting for that
And
show now.
I wanted to bring those, but
Yeah.
I thought this was actually more appropriate because this is a story of my evolution from when I started the business back in October to when I got fired from my job in November.
Yeah.
And then what that sparked
Yeah.
after that. And
Mm-hmm.
so this is me. And even as I describe it, I want everybody to realize too that
Yeah.
like it's interpretive, but take a peek into my world. This is me right here. This
Really?
is my face right here, is what I see. This is my face. And then this is what, many consider your third eye, is what I see
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
And this, for some reason, for me, I'm kind of channeling whatever I'm feeling, my thoughts, feelings, and experiences
Mhm.
into what's above me right
Oh,
here.
wow.
And now above here,
Yeah.
what y'all don't understand is I've got the words fear, pain, healing, and joy all up here. But over time, I've worked with it and now they're just blended in. And so to me, this is really an expression of where I was at from October till now, because it's still being worked on. It's actually being worked on, and yeah, you're seeing me dealing with all the stress that comes with all these transitions. Because those are huge. Those are pretty huge
Okay.
transitions.
So now this takes me to another place because if this is you
Yeah.
and this is the story of you just in the latter so many months,
hmm
does this help you deal with anxiety,
Mm.
depression? Is it therapy?
It comes from it. It actually comes from it. It comes from the depression. It comes from the anxiety. It's all those feelings channeled into. This is a piece that my energy it's imbued.
Mhm.
I am here in this. If somebody takes this with them, they're gonna have literally a piece of my energy with them. Much like I always like think about like the Harry Potter reference where it's just this idea that like somebody's the dark character in it,
Right.
his soul could be separated out into these different objects. And that's how I feel like for me, I was like, there's an energy in each of these pieces.
Mhm.
Because there's just so much of my those emotions that you described.
Are you a healer?
I don't know if I would I would never classify myself, but that's the intention. I want to
That's
heal.
the intention.
The
I
intention is to
appreciate you
heal.
saying that. So you attend to at some point in time those who you come in contact with, you attend to make sure they're smiling at the end of their piece
Mm.
from evaluating because I could see this piece
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks ago and I couldn't see that what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
But now it makes me look at something totally different.
Right.
And I'm thinking of one of my daughters right now
Mm.
because one of my daughters deals with anxiety,
Mm.
and she has been for years. And one of the things that she does in her spare time is she has a coloring book.
Mm.
And, I'll joke with her and I'll say, all right, stand between the lines. But when she shows me her finished work, I see her as a kid again.
Mm.
And I see some of the pain, and I see some of
Mm.
the happiness, and I see some of the emotions that I didn't see then.
Mm.
So I'm really if I could say thank you, I'm saying thank you,
Oh,
because I really
thank you.
believe what you're doing is you're representing, you're helping us. We do something as street outreach workers
Mm.
through our CPO, through
Mm.
our I'd like to call our outreach program.
Yeah.
That there's other members
Mm-hmm.
where we're listening, we're talking
Mm-hmm.
to youth. And I really think what you've done is you've added another entity
Mm.
to what is needed out there, because there's a silence that these kids and these youth have that is so hard for us to connect with. Do you agree?
I would say so. It's difficult
It's
to
difficult.
pinpoint.
And I think you just opened the door to something that maybe we might need to explore a little bit more.
Mm.
I'm just being honest, and I'm
No, I
going on the
appreciate it.
ledge with this,
Yeah.
because we do have professionals in place to assist us with this. Because, like we mentioned, the gun violence
Absolutely.
and where this all originated from, we're getting kids and getting young individuals to say no to this weapon, but say yes to this weapon.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, I mean it makes sense, and two, I'm thinking about how inaccessible mental health is for us.
Yeah.
I've had a therapist for 7 years, and
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
it took me a minute to find her, and she's somebody who looks like me. That was
Yeah.
also hard to find.
No, and I'm
Th-
glad you said that,
and
because there's not many.
there's not. This to me is the in between when you
Really.
can't access therapy,
Hmm.
being able to access art.
Yeah.
That's like it can it can't it doesn't have to cost $400
Right.
a month, just if I wanted to see my therapist, it would every week, like how I would want to see her,
Mm-hmm.
it would be $400 to $600. Who has $400 to $600 to
Yeah.
spend? But you need that though too. It's
Yeah.
a part of it, and so to me, art can be that in between to and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing with 417 Bridge Builders, is like being able to increase that access to art,
Mm-hmm.
also increases access to opportunity. But then also, we're talking about economic mobility when I'm talking about when you invest in my piece, you're investing in the community,
I
because
love it.
33% of the profits will always go to
I love it.
417 Bridge Builders. And so, yeah, it's
Can
like,
we talk on air
yeah.
what a piece like this would cost
Yeah,
on
yeah, no,
average? Yeah.
absolutely. So these are, you heard what I said. We invest in our community.
Yeah.
I feel like I value myself as well. So a
Mm-hmm.
piece like this is, we in the thousands with it. But you gotta understand, when you're investing, it's an
Okay.
investment. It's not just you're buying a piece, you're investing.
Right.
And you could say, even when you have that up in your house, be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's a beautiful piece. You have a story to tell with it. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
met this artist, and he's giving back to the community, and especially if those are things that you believe in.
Yeah.
This is a perfect way to be able to be like, hey, I can't be at the I can't be always
Right.
in the street. I can't be protesting, but shoot, I brought this person's art and they're doing good work, and just being able to support them,
Yeah.
man, that could be the change that to me is needed, because we all have to. I literally wrote it down. I was like, we all have to play our role.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get comfortable with the roles that we've all been blessed with too. It's
Right.
like, we're not all supposed to be in each other's lane, and we're all supposed to be passionate about it. So conflict is meant to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Come
It's
on now,
meant to happen.
You're talking.
And it's supposed to happen. If we're not conflicting, then we're not growing, to me. Now,
Yeah.
it's how we conflict is the thing, because we still need to make sure that we respect each other. So,
So,
yeah.
and I have to ask this question
Mm,
because you mentioned about mental health.
mm,
How okay? How do you protect your mental health
mm,
while engaging in heavy issues, especially? I ran into an artist,
mm-hmm.
and the reason why I asked this is
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
I ran into an artist. I was recently in Kansas City,
Mm-hmm.
and up there, I think we talked off air, and it was just a random artist on the street. Calls himself being. Let me get this right. Be enemy. B
Okay.
B B V. It's actually be the enemy,
Okay.
but he says be in me, and I was like, you just said that 3 different ways, and he says no. Be in me with the be enemy. And I didn't like, what? What does that mean? The name of this artist, and he was a street artist, he says, there's so many enemies in me because of what people see,
Ooh.
but they don't understand unless they be with me
Oh.
why I do what I do.
That's deep. That's deep.
Makes sense,
Yeah.
right? So I'm because I stepped outside the hotel where I was at. You know, I took a small walk, and there he is. And I'm saying to myself, whatever this guy is going through, in order to create the work that he's creating, how does he protect himself
Mm.
from it's called artistical suicide, I guess you would call that,
Yeah.
because you can see by looking at his work that this guy burns out.
Mm.
He's done. He's living on the streets and doing his art because if somebody don't buy his work, he's really homeless. He doesn't have anything. He don't eat.
Mm.
So when you talk about this and this being an investment,
Mm.
your talent don't eat,
Mm-mm.
but you also handling this mental health.
Mm.
Not from a patient standpoint. You just said 7 years. I know I'm kind of going off the cuff here, but I'm being real. You're spending 7 years with therapy and you producing work like this, but then you're also offering an outlet to others.
Because it's not about me. Because what you just said with that, young, because that actually resonated really deeply with me. Because I was talking with another artist about this, but like, there's a lot of artists that don't get to do this. And when I say artists, all of us that do
Yeah.
this work, and they don't have access to the resources. They or they're burnt out, or whatever it is. And so every day I get to do this, gratitude. That's why I come in with so much gratitude and blessings, because we ain't promised tomorrow.
No.
And even when you're asking, because I've shared my ancestor spirits and guides for sure, but it's prayer and faith with that, like it's prayer and faith and faith and works, like, and faith in how I move, if I'm really who I even preparing for this, I remember I was like, man, if I really am who I say I am, I just need to come in and be authentic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But sometimes where we live,
Mhm.
sometimes it constricts that a bit. This allows me to open that up a bit, maybe pry it open, so I can just be me. Because how you not gonna be you in front of your work,
I love
So,
it. I love it. Hey, we're gonna put a pin right there. Hey, y'all. You already know who I am, Brother Mays,
Jayce
Jayce
Janae.
Janae. This is the Lock and Loaded Show. We got our special guest, Indi, aka Indi Charles. Or Charles, I'm gonna say that correctly.
yeah, that's good.
Hey, y'all, it's all good. We're gonna be right back. Hey, what's up, everybody? To the we come around the corner on this episode of the art of advocating with special guest, Mr. Indi,
Mm,
better known as Indigo Childs.
mm,
And here's the thing: we've been talking about the artistry that he portrays, that he does, that he loves, that he's passionate for, and how he's transitioning into the advocacy of his work. And we recently were just talking about, you know, being transparent with his work to be able to give back to the youth and the community that he serves. And there was a question that I wanted to ask before the break, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it now. And Jayce, if you can help me with this, because
Mhm.
what responsibility do you, Indi, as an artivist or accountability have to the people that you represent?
mm. You know, I think about growth.
Mm,
I have to be accountable to growth. I gotta grow. I gotta evolve. There has to be authenticity involved as well.
mm,
And where I'm headed, unfortunately, but such a blessing is vulnerability.
Mhm.
I
mm,
have to be vulnerable. And vulnerability is not always cute.
No.
It's oftentimes not cute, but
mm,
what lives in vulnerability, because that's like right past accountability. Like
mm,
accountability is one thing for sure, but
mm,
being vulnerable, I'm seeing the more I'm vulnerable, the more that I am able to reach into people and pull out things that they didn't even
mm,
know and
Mhm.
I didn't even know existed. And
mm.
so, as much as my work is my work, it's an experience for me and the viewer, you
Okay.
know?
Do you feel like you have reached the pinnacle in your work or your life to where you say that chapter is over? Now it's time for me to rewrite a new chapter.
That's funny you say that because the unique part about all my pieces is they'll evolve until I die. So all of these
Mm.
pieces, I could be like, oh, I think I'm good with it right now. And 2 years later, I look at it and be like, oh, actually, I think it's missing this. And I would get right back on that
Right.
canvas and I would put stuff on it because that I've always had a really hard time. I think with most artists feeling like you're complete with something, even if it's like a
Mhm.
beat or
Yeah.
something, you're just like,
Yeah. I
man,
never know when to stop.
yeah, you're like, oh, let me tweak this, like
Yeah.
let me tweak that. And so I'm really allowing myself to just be like,
Yeah.
you know what? I this lives and exists in a sector which is
Yeah.
like painting, which can do that
Mhm.
in a really fluid way. So let me do that. Let me
Okay.
approach my work that way.
I think it's pretty dope that you do go back on those pieces because, as you said earlier, like growth and everything. Like with growth comes change, change of
Mm.
thought, point
Right.
of view, and things like that. So when you look back at this piece, like how you told us what this piece is about now,
Right.
it might be something different from years
I
from
hope.
now. Yeah.
Mm.
Like I hope, and my hope is too when I do these for others
Mhm.
because I'm doing a commission and I'll be in Pennsylvania for 2 weeks doing a commission for someone, and I will be coming back on a
E- e-
6 month
expl-
basis to.
Explain that because
Nice.
I've heard other
That's
artists
pretty dope.
say that before. What does that compound when you say you go into another?
So it's kind of like an artist residency where
Okay.
I'll be going there for 2 weeks and I'll create they were just wanting one specific piece of artwork and I was like, that's beautiful because I could just spend all my time on
There
one
you go.
piece.
There you
Mhm.
go.
And then in 6 months I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna work on that same piece again. But I'm gonna have a finished, like feel
Mm.
like where I'm finished,
Mhm.
and then I want to come back 6 months later when they have one of their events,
Mhm.
and then update it with that event, so we can just continue to update it when this
Yeah.
organization has more.
I
And
love it. I
yeah, yeah,
love it.
yeah. So it
So
evolves.
so kind of talk to me about that because here's the thing. You know, Art Deco district
Mm,
where I lived in Miami and downtown area at one time, and they have something major. It's one of the biggest Art Deco or art festivals, I should say, in the United States. Do you find yourself saying, I'm going to present my work at one of these type of festivals? Because I know Chicago has one, Vancouver, Canada has one of the largest ones in the world. As an
Mm.
independent artist, is that a goal to say I'm going to take my work and showcase me at one of these major ones, or even even smaller ones?
Man, I feel like man, Frank Ocean did this in his song because he was talking about how Jay-Z was trying to tell him to do something or something. But no, it
Yeah.
comes from that same spirit where it's like it's the spirit is, man, wherever I'm, I will never say no to opportunity. And
Yeah.
anytime I can get my artwork out and it can get to us,
Yeah.
I'm with. And so I don't want to stand in my way. So I want to do those. I also want to continue to do workshops for youth because
Okay.
I do workshops for youth. I want to do commissions. I want to continue to do live art experiences for. I got a wedding coming up that I'm going to be doing that I literally just got after our conversation. I was
Okay.
like, man,
Nice.
stuff
Plant
is
that
coming
seed, huh?
together.
So we and just to give you a little history, so that I'm recently engaged, and of course, yeah, that part right there. And so my fiance and I were walking up just at the Multicultural Fest, and one of the ideas that came to mind, and I won't totally talk about it, but when we looked at your art, we looked at each other like, yeah, and that was like, okay. And that was when I said to you, and I asked you, I said, do you do weddings? Do you do these type of things? And he says, your words was, I can.
Mm-hmm.
I love the innovation, even if you've never done it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that you was like, okay, I'm willing.
Mm.
Do you get that? Because you just said you got somebody came up to you there after we did. But do you feel like when someone comes to you, like they see something that you you didn't see about yourself?
Mm.
They just go, oh, does that put an extra oomph onto who you are?
I, maybe,
Because because you're
maybe.
so you seem
I
so humble. And,
well, it's because I see that whatever they feel about me is actually how they feel about themselves. They just don't know it yet. I'm like, y'all all hype
okay.
on it. You might, you come in contact with me and I'm like, you gassing me up. I'm like, yeah, and I'm looking right back at you like I'm reflecting back what you're giving me. So
I
this is
love it.
you
I
that you're
love it.
getting.
Yeah.
And so I really try to, I don't know if it's as much as humble, but just give the praises where the praises are due. Cause this is me
Yeah.
making my own choices, but I have a lot of protection around me. My grandma's always prayed for me.
There you go. I love it.
And
The prayers of a grandmother.
I got
Whew.
praise. Those are some powerful prayers too, and my grandfather as well. My whole family, they've always prayed for me, and I believe in that.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Here's actually I got a question for you, Jayce,
Oh,
and
me?
y'all can join in on this one, together, because you're both artists and you're in your own aspect. And I said this even to myself years ago when I used to sing a lot. How do you want your work to be remembered 10 and 20 years from now? How do you want it to be replicated, if replicated, especially in your situation?
Um, it's a good question. I don't think I ever thought about that before,
Hmm.
because I mean, you know, like you said earlier, this a way of us expressing ourselves
Hmm.
and bringing the inside out. So as
Hmm.
far
Mm,
as how I want to be remembered or looked at 20 years from now, as far as the music I'm making now, is
Right.
just something different, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I mean, something that's, people are all doing a lot of the same things. Like, it's a lot of people that do music.
mhm,
It's a lot of
Right.
people
Right.
that
Right.
draw. It's a lot of
mhm,
people, but this is how I did it my way.
mm.
I
In a
like that.
sense,
I
I
like that.
guess that's like the first thing that would come to mind as far as how I want people to think about it. In a
Can you
sense,
vibe? Would you be able to vibe to your own music once you hit 60?
yeah, for sure.
You
Cause I
feel?
mean, cause I know
I love the
now.
confidence, because if you would have said no, I'm like,
Well, I mean, I only say that. I mean, I say that because starting off when I first started making music
Mm.
in like 4 or 5 years ago, and when it came to me starting to perform and I'm doing shows and it's people of all different ages that's in the crowd and stuff, or just people I wouldn't think that would
Right.
gravitate towards my
Mm-hmm.
music. So once I've seen like the diversity and the people that enjoy the stuff that I create, it's just kind of like, I mean, if someone that's in that age group now enjoys
Yeah.
it, then later on in life, I don't see it being any different. You know.
Mm.
Now that's bouncing back to you now.
I mean, it's the same thing, though.
Same thing.
Is it
Mm.
because you're kind of touching on authenticity to me? It feels like when you were sharing that, it felt like you want to be remembered for what you did and not some, not either mimicking or copying something that you may. It almost feels like when you're talking to like making people feel something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also to your question, when you're
Mm.
talking about a 60, making
Hmm.
yourself feel something too. So it's not
Yeah.
just about
I like that.
them, but it starts with you, how it connects with you.
Yeah, because I feel like,
Mm.
and I want to tie that to something because I was gonna
No,
point
I
it
was
please.
about
out
to say,
earlier.
Please,
yeah,
please,
give me your
please.
hands
I
up.
was gonna point out when you mentioned you weren't talking about this art piece, but I think it was when you were talking about when you were a child in the
Hmm.
diner and drawing and everything, and you said something that really stuck out to me when you were like, I didn't realize it then, but going back and reflecting on it, that's when you drew some type of wisdom or lesson or
Mm,
Mm.
awareness
Mm.
to the situation. And I find a lot of times I related to that because I find a lot of times, sometimes I'll just make a song just to make a song.
Mm.
I want to create, I want to hear some music in my ears, I want to make something. And there's times where I've made songs and in the moment I'm just doing whatever.
Right.
right.
But in hindsight, when I actually go back and listen to the song and the things that I was saying, I wasn't being so particular about what I was trying to put out, but in hindsight, is like a deeper message in it. And the more
Right.
I listened to what I said, and people would point out to me in my music, like my um, talk about my lyricism
Yeah.
and everything. Is like in the moment, I don't even think about it, like, oh, I'm about to make the
Right.
most
Right.
crazy bar and whatever. Like
Right.
in hindsight, I see the value or the message
Mm,
that ends up coming out of the things that I create. So that
I
was just
love it.
something that I wanted to point out because I kind of connected with that when you said afterwards. I
right.
reflected and I saw.
Because you marinate in
Yeah.
it, and then also too, it's in a very unique, strange, and divine way. It's an act of
Mm.
self care too. Like you're valuing yourself in that because you get to
Mm.
go back and like, ooh, I hear something. Oh,
Yeah.
it sound like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, bet. Oh, yeah. So, because sometimes you
Okay.
need breath away from your work. So, I need
Yeah.
breath away from this for a second, and then I come back and I'm like, you tilt my head. I'm like, oh, maybe I think it might need to add this to it.
Right.
So,
And I feel like it still ties back into accountability in a sense because a lot of people they don't want to look back and
Yeah.
look for a deeper message or see where
mm,
Right.
see what might be the actual message.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like they're not hearing or understanding this.
message.
Right. They're not hearing or
Woo.
understanding in that moment where not only did they probably pull something out of themselves that they didn't see before,
Mhm.
or something that someone else might have pointed out to them, and if you can only do that if you look back and reflect. And it's either you can see and be like, nah, that's not what that is, or you're like, oh snap, that's
Mm,
how I really feel.
period.
Indy, you have taken your time, and thank you for coming by the
Yeah,
studio.
thank you,
Number
man.
one,
Thank you.
and Jayce, thank you for that as well.
A
I
gem.
always look
For
for
sure.
opportunities to get her to talk more. But the good thing is that you you're so deep
Mm,
into your passion,
mm,
and there's a lot of artists out here who could say, "Hey, I've lived it. I've done this. I've done it." I get this vibe that you are. It's like the book.
mm-hmm.
You've written several chapters,
Mm-hmm.
but I get this vibe that you are at a point right now that you're not just talking about the art.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about growth. You're talking about integrity. You're talking about living day to day in the life of an artivist.
Mm.
You're talking about what does it take to continue what you do? Because if I wanted to support you, it's one thing to support you financially, buy a piece or two,
Of
whatever.
course, of course, of course.
But beyond likes and shares, how can people support you and your gift?
Mm.
I think the number one thing is we know money by perform
Yeah, yeah,
because it pick. I mean, 33% of it goes to a foundation,
absolutely.
a charity.
Yeah.
But beyond the likes and the shares,
This is actually real deep too, because this is
yeah,
because I'm always getting metaphysical with folks,
Mhm.
but it's an investment into them. You know what I'm saying? Investing into them. That's what I need y'all to do to support
mm,
this work. What I do is
mm,
I need y'all to take care of yourselves. So if you feel
mm,
inspired by anything that I do to like take care of
mm,
yourselves, that's what I want. Even if it's just looking at it, you don't have to buy a piece
Mhm.
necessarily.
right.
Like, but you take care of yourself
I love it.
and you take care of the people around you and you move with that integrity that you spoke of. To me, that is supporting what I am trying to support, which is like being the change that we want to see in the
Yeah.
world. The whole art is action, and art lives everywhere within everyone, and how we treat each other can be artistic.
Yeah.
So just being intentional and being authentic to yourself and those around you, that's the
Mm,
way you can support, because that's all I'm doing is
mm,
I'm doing that for myself and I'm doing that for others. So if you're just, you don't have to buy nothing, just if you hear this or if
mm.
you see me out, like invest into yourself because you're
I
worth
love it.
it.
Yeah.
Like,
And again, thank you for coming by our show. I know
thank you.
Most definitely.
we've kind of hit where we wanted to,
Mm,
and all. I try to put our guests in this position uh, at some point in time. And before we go,
mm,
if you could talk directly to your, in this case, I say your 10-year-old self,
mm.
and sit in a room like this, and you have that conversation with them, with this piece of art sitting here just like this, what's that conversation sound like?
Okay, so my therapist asked me the same thing,
Uh-oh.
and what I
And
realized.
I don't have a certification
No, no,
in
no, 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 no,
therapy.
no, no, no,
Okay.
no, 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 no. But
Yeah.
you know, it's what resonates with me right now, and hmm, it takes me down a portal because I when I say this, I'm actually in my belief system. I feel like I'm actually talking to my inner child is what I would say. So
Okay.
my inner child, 10 years old, would be like, bro, you have everything you need. You do not need to concern yourself with trying to validate your thoughts, feelings, and emotions
I
with
love it.
everybody around you. It's not going to do anything but hurt you, and it's going to hurt, and you're going to hurt others around you because of it. So you are worth it. You have everything you need, and both of your parents love you very much.
I love it.
And um, I would say continue to keep on your journey and remember to breathe. It sounds like really mundane, but breathe and drink your
Yeah.
water,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
those are some essential things that you need on this journey. And
Okay.
and don't ever just continue to follow what you feel and continue to follow what
Most
your
definitely.
vision is. Don't Because sometimes the things that are meant for you aren't meant for others.
Mm.
Mm.
Oh, no. Hey,
Yeah, see, I had to go somewhere real quick.
no,
That's, yeah, see.
you hit it on the dot. Indy, how does someone, if you could look into the camera right now and talk to that person who is sitting there and they're listening to you. They feel like you have just touched
Mm,
every part of them, and you have allowed yourself to now pretty much help them.
mm,
Tell them how they can get in touch with you.
mm. Well, before I say that, I ain't perfect. So if you saw this up here, you were like, "Oh man, he looks so perfect." I ain't perfect. That's the
I
trick.
like
Is
that.
ain't there ain't no perfection, but you can catch me on Facebook and Instagram right now. Indigo Childs. That's Indigo, and then Child with the ES, and you can find that on Facebook and Instagram. And then I also want you to make sure y'all follow 417 Bridge Builders though too. So we got 417 Bridge Builders. That's at Facebook as well. We're working on our social media, so we've got an Instagram as well that we've got up,
Okay.
and website coming soon as well. Hopefully, I'm gonna see y'all at Art Fest as well. That's coming up.
What's your dates on that?
We got shoot because I come prepared. The dates: Art Fest May 3rd
Yeah.
through the 4th.
Third through
I'll
the
also
fourth.
be at Earth Day Festival April 26th. I've got a wedding in June, so I'll be out of town in June. And then I got some stuff in San Diego that is coming up
I
in
like that.
summer and spring.
Oceanside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But all blessings, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm trying to think if there's anywhere else you can catch. Oh, I'm also going to be doing some pop-ups at some local parks, just to see who's going to come out and connect. But
Okay.
follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, and you'll be able to kind of stay tuned with what I have going. It's only the beginning, so
Nice. Love
Love
it.
it.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Thank you.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. It's all good. Hey, y'all. We've had a great show.
Hmm.
I'll just be one with you on this one. I didn't know what to expect. Um, in my lifetime, you are the third artist that I have ever had the opportunity to interview.
Mm.
I wouldn't say artivist,
Mm-hmm.
but third artist
Yeah, yeah.
in that aspect.
It's a blessing.
But I have to say this has probably been my most intriguing opportunity because, you know, seeing what you do,
Mm.
now understanding what you do, I now have a little bit more of a will to want to see what else you do.
Mm.
Because I think what I'm seeing here is not only telling the story, but it's chapters.
Yeah.
And I want to complete the book.
Oh.
I want to complete the book.
Oh.
So
I
I'm looking
appreciate that.
forward to the next piece that you do,
Thank you.
and be able to sit down and envision it, and because again, what you're doing is healing people. You're helping people heal,
Wow.
and I appreciate that, and I know Jayce, obviously.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I can tell when Jayce gets to the point where it's like, oh yeah, that was a good guess. That was because it's her demeanor,
Mm.
and that says a lot. And and she's a producer and an artist herself, and you can tell when it's somebody respects what you do,
Mm.
you can see it out of someone like herself. And
Mm.
so I just want to say you are always welcome to come back to our
Most,
show.
most definitely.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I
and we
appreciate
love to
y'all.
see what you have in the near future. Hey guys, this is the Locked and Loaded
Mm.
show. We're gonna close the show out once again. Special guest in the house is Indi, the one and only
Thank you.
Indi,
Thank you.
Indigo Childs.
Thank y'all.
And of course, you know now where you can catch his work. At the end of the day, Jayce,
Yes.
any last things you want to say?
Well, I'll agree with what you said earlier. Great
Okay.
show. Great guest. Loved
Thank
it.
We
you.
love it. Hey y'all, if you
Thank you.
still want to hit up Lock and Loaded and you want to be able to be a guest on our show, um, I think I got it this time. LockNLoaded 417
At
at
Gmail.
gmail.com. I'm
Yes,
saying
sir.
it slow because I want to make sure. Because, here's the funny thing. We've had some requests. We've had some people reach out,
Hmm.
and it is becoming a great thing,
Mm.
Yeah.
because now it's open.
Right.
to our community, and I want to make sure that you also understand, guys, that this is not about um, any self glamour. This is no one here, Jayce and myself, getting. This is not about us. This is about the community,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the beauties of
Absolutely.
being able to do what we do is the fact that we are supported by one of the greatest organizations that I've ever come across. And of course, that's Community Partnership of the Ozarks. And of course, Gun Safety and Violence Reduction Collaborative. People that come together for a particular cause and they said, hey, what can we do as a community to help reduce the violence that's in the streets, especially, initiated by gun violence, but from a community standpoint and from an outreach that I had just be honest is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the end of the day, um, we have a purpose. So again, Lock and Load the show. You know where to find us. We're on our YouTube platform. Look us up. We are already doing 2 episodes a month, and it's growing. And we appreciate you. We'll talk to you later. Peace.